When I talk about living a soft life, I'm not talking about an aesthetic or even just living a life of luxury. I'm really talking about being able to move through life with, easing and flowing through life, even when life lifes. And in order to do that, it's really about having systems that can support you and that can help you no matter what your energy levels are. Hey there, I'm Kathleen, and I help women navigate life and career transitions with more ease and less chaos. And if you're new to my channel, here we talk about lifestyle, entrepreneurship, and faith. And this video is part of a series I'm calling The 8 Keys to a Soft Life. And so we're going to talk about being adaptable and how having systems can help you manage your energy. Energy management, energy capacity, I think is more important than time management. So let's talk about it. When you hear the word systems, you might think many different things, but all a system really is a repeatable way of doing something. And it's really about energy management. Because, sometimes when you're recovering from an illness or, something unexpected comes up during the week, you just don't have the energy, right? But when you have systems, repeatable systems that you can turn back to or rely on, it helps you recover faster. And that's the thing about living a soft life. Living a soft life means that you probably have systems in place, whether you call it a system or not. You have systems in place that help you like maintain your energy so that you're not using energy or brain power on things that could be going into other things, right? And I think that's something that a lot of people skip, especially if you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a new entrepreneur and you're still feeling like you're operating the same way that you did before, you're not moving softly yet. I think it's because a lot of times we focus on time management, but it can really be about energy management. It's not about like you have to hustle more. I don't subscribe to hustle culture, but it's not about hustling more. It's not that, if you work your 9 to 5 while also working your business, it's not that you're not managing your time well. It's more so about having energy to pour into something that you're creating. And sometimes your 9 to 5 might get the best of your energy. So when you have adaptable systems that can help restore your energy, that gives you the capacity to pour into something that you're creating on your own and get you closer to living a softer life if that's something that you're working towards or that's something that's, a state of being that you want to embody. So let's talk about what being adaptable and having adaptable systems looks like in practice. It really looks like adjusting a plan when your energy is lower than you may have expected it to be. It's shifting your priorities when something else or something urgent comes up that can't be ignored. And it's finding a way to keep moving forward instead of stopping completely. I think sometimes when our energy changes or we don't have the same energy throughout the day or the week or the month, we think we have to completely stop, but there's usually baseline things that you can keep doing to keep moving forward instead of stopping completely. And some examples of adaptable systems are meal planning, where you have your go-to meals or ingredients that you always keep in your fridge or in your pantry so that you can still eat well and still eat homemade meals, even if your week is really chaotic. Grocery planning is kind of part of meal planning, but grocery planning is also an adaptable system if you have a reusable list or, again, like some go-to ingredients or method that doesn't require you to start from scratch with a new list every single week. And also having quick resets, that's also an adaptable system. It's basically like a simple rhythm that you can follow, even, after life throws its curveballs, when life lifes, maybe you've been sick or off of your normal schedule. Having quick resets helps you get back on track. Now, I wrote more about restoring your energy and creating adaptable systems as you build your business in a recent Substack post. So check out the link in the description box if you want to check that out. And if you subscribe to my free newsletter on Substack, you'll receive a copy of the Jumpstart Checklist Employee to Entrepreneur. This is a one-page action-focused checklist that helps you organize your systems so that you can move competently from your 9 to 5 into your own work. One of the systems that I rely on in my own day-to-day is my meal prep and meal plan system, because when I don't follow it, I use a lot of energy trying to figure out what to eat. Because it's what am I going to eat? Do I need to go to the store? Which store do I need to go to? Would it be cheaper to just get takeout? Like all these questions that come up take up a lot of energy. And that's energy that I could be using for something else, anything else. And so meal planning is really one of my adaptable systems. Now, recently, I wasn't really able to follow my meal plan system because I was recovering from this dry cough and overall fatigue that I had. It wasn't a cold, it wasn't the flu, just I just did not feel well. I was under the weather. And so now that I'm like my energy's coming back and I feel a lot better, I'm relying on my meal plan system to kind of reset. And so I just wanted to show you how I plan my meals and prep my meals for the week. Okay, so it starts with the list, the grocery list. So in the notes app of my phone, I keep this running list. And I just went to the store, so that's why everything is already checked off. There's nothing else that I need to get this week. But if there is, I make a note of it under the this week section. And then on this list, I have different categories. So always, those are things that I always buy every time I go to the store. Staples in my pantry. When in doubt, when if I don't actually have a full list, just look at this list of when in doubt and pick from there. This section, meals when you don't know what to cook. I actually don't use this, but I just had that there for times where I didn't know what to cook and needed ideas. And then Costco. I go to Costco maybe once a month, maybe once every other month, something like that. But I essentially check that section to see if there's anything on the Costco list that I need to get. And that's how I end up going to Costco and not really spending a crazy amount of money because I just pretty much focus on what's on that list. Now, if you're like me and you're only really cooking for yourself and maybe one other person, but you like a little bit of variety, like you can't eat the same thing every single day, then like what you can do is when you go shopping, when you go to the grocery store, focus on getting like two or three different proteins, maybe two. Two is actually more than enough. Two different proteins, three or four different types of vegetables, maybe two or three different types of fruits, and then definitely always get like a treat, something to treat yourself. And whatever beverages, if you drink anything other than water, whatever beverages you need, try to keep your grocery list simple and just make it like flexible enough where you don't have to eat the exact same thing for 4 days in a row. Like I don't do that type of meal planning where I eat the exact same thing for 4 days in a row. I really only like eating the same thing maybe 2 days in a row, possibly three. But what you really want to try to do is just be flexible with your options, have different options and quick things that you can make for the times where, you want to cook something quick or you want to be able to prep something to last a few days. I also, in the wintertime especially, I also will cook like chili or other things that are freezer friendly so that I have something that's quick in my freezer that doesn't have a ton of preservatives for those times where I don't want to cook, I don't want to order out, but I need to eat. Now, when it comes to meal prepping, usually on Sunday or Monday, I'll prepare, a few ingredients that I could put together and create meals from. So I'll like bake some chicken and I'll use different flavors, different ingredients. I'll make a grain and a starch. And depending on what the vegetable is, I'll prepare vegetables too. Like roasted Brussels sprouts, those hold up pretty well. Broccoli holds up well. But if it's something like kale or any other leafy green, I usually don't meal or prepare that in advance. And I do it this way most weeks, especially if I'm really busy. So instead of trying to think of like a specific recipe, I just make sure that I have food that's cooked. So chicken that's cooked, rice that's already cooked. And I do eat leftover rice. I know they try to say don't eat leftover rice, but I've been eating leftover rice since I was like two, and I'm still here. So it's fine. But I usually just make sure that I have certain things cooked so that when it comes time to eat, I don't have to think about what am I going to cook. I just open the fridge and I already have a container of baked chicken, rice, and a vegetable. I also have a lot of kitchen gadgets and small appliances that make cooking and meal prepping just a lot easier and faster. So I have an Instant Pot, an air fryer. Even though lately I have been using the regular oven, and even though it does take longer, it also tastes better in the oven. But the air fryer is definitely convenient, and I also like using the air fryer in the summer so that it doesn't make my whole apartment hot. Some of those gadgets and appliances, it really makes meal prep go a lot faster. And usually I can like prepare those proteins and grains and depending on what the vegetable is, and also clean the kitchen within like 2 hours. And I think with meal prepping and finding a system that works for you, this is one of the systems that you have to be really flexible with and adapt to your lifestyle and what you might have going on week to week. If you have a really busy week, you might prepare meals differently than if you have more time to cook during the week. Or, let's say you have a lot more social events or activities during one season and another season you don't. You might prepare your meals around that. So I think with a meal prep system, it takes some time to figure out like what really works for you and it's going to change. So have fun with it, experiment, and you'll eventually figure out what works for you to prepare your meals in a way that helps save you time so you don't have to keep thinking about what to eat every single day. Now, being adaptable and having a soft life really is about your systems, having systems that help work with your energy instead of against it. And that's how you're able to ease and flow through life. So if this video made you think about adaptability differently, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear more about it. And make sure you check out the rest of the videos in this series. Like I said, this is part of the 8 Keys to a Soft Life series. So there are 7 other videos for you to check out in the series. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.